Hello everyone, it's Gillian and welcome to today's super exciting extreme slime makeover. I am so excited for you to see what slime I created today. So for today's slime makeover, I decided to do a rainbow theme. So to do that, I picked out 6 slimes that were kind of similar to the colors I was looking for and decided to give all of them a makeover, bring them back to life, and just see what I could come up with. I've never done a rainbow themed slime makeover, and this was definitely a big challenge. There was lots of slimes here, but these are the colors and slimes that I selected, so let's jump into it. So for the orange color, I decided to use this slime from Scented Slime by Amy. It was a beautiful pastel orange color, and as you can see, it's very thick. I think they're slay texture, so it's very much like a butter slime. Lots of clay, very thick and spreadable, and I decided that this was going to be my orange slime. So the first thing I did was place it in a bowl and take out the little charm, and then this was still quite activated, so I just decided to mix it with my hands, and to soften it up I added some lotion. Now my goal with this rainbow slime was for all the slimes to have a similar texture, and I knew this was going to be a challenge, but I was going to try my best to go for a really soft, slightly glossy texture of my slimes. Then I added some shaving foam and again mixed this in with my hands. I decided not to deactivate this slime because I wasn't going to be doing too much with it. I knew that I was going to like it. I kept the scent the same. It was a very strong citrus scent, and there was no way I was going to be able to change that. That was also something that I was a little bit worried about, is all these slimes had different scents and I didn't know how that would go mixed together, but I just decided to go for it. So here is the first slime. For the purple slime, I decided to use this one from Slime New York, and I wasn't sure what the texture was going to be or the scent. I couldn't remember from when I reviewed it, so it was a surprise, and it definitely was kind of an icy texture of slime, and it had a strong lavender scent. So already I was faced with 2 challenges because the previous slime was citrus scented, and as you can see, this is not like the texture that I wanted. So the first thing I decided to do was deactivate it completely. It was just going to be easier to make over and add all the ingredients, and it's just easier to mix everything in when it's deactivated. So I just went in with some glycerin and started mixing that in. That's my favorite thing to use when I need to deactivate an overacted slime or when I'm doing slime makeovers. So I just deactivated it, and then I wanted this to be a brighter purple. I really wanted every color in this rainbow slime to pop, so I added some pink and blue food coloring. That's because I don't have a purple food coloring that I like. I've tried a few, but I just don't like any of them, so I always mix my own purple. So because this was a lavender scent, I wasn't really loving it, so I decided to go in with vanilla, and I thought that that would kind of complement the lavender scent. It did mask it a little bit. I also went in with some lotion, and this is honestly just to try and soften this slime as much as possible and to kind of get rid of that icy texture. Then I went in with some activator and reactivated the slime, and it was definitely a very soft slime. It was probably my least favorite slime in the makeover. I definitely struggled with this one just because there wasn't much I could do with the texture. It was kind of stuck the way it was, but I was really happy with the bright purple color. Now for the most difficult slime makeover from the video, and I wish I hadn't chosen this green slime, but I just love the color so much, and this was definitely a challenge. So as you can see, it's a very crunchy, icy texture of slime. So the first thing I thought I would try is to scrape out that top separated layer, and I thought that maybe there might be some glossy slime sitting at the bottom from where it had separated, but no, the whole thing was kind of this crunchy texture, so I decided to just kind of go with it and see if I could soften it up myself. So I just put it in a bowl and broke my spoon. As you can see, this slime, at this point I was just like, oh my gosh, why did I pick this one? So here I am mixing it all together, seeing what I'm working with. There were also some little lime Fimo pieces in here, but I picked those out once it was activated. Now this had a very strong lime scent, so I decided to kind of mellow that out with this cucumber theme scent, and that definitely worked. Now this is probably cheating, but I just felt like this slime needed a bit of extra glue. I really wanted to have the same amount of slime in each color, and this was a smaller slime, so I just decided to add a touch of glue, and then I made it a more vibrant green because it was a little bit dull after adding the glue. And now I was like, what am I going to do about this kind of unique texture? I need it to be softer and glossier, so I decided to add some conditioner just to try and diffuse that crunchiness, and then I went in with some baby oil as well, and I definitely think this helped make it stretchier and softer, as well as the extra glue. I then went in with my activator and started reactivating this slime. I accidentally overactivated it. I was a bit heavy-handed with my activator, so I just added a touch of glycerin to bring it back to that perfect texture, and I actually really liked this slime. It was a beautiful bright green, and it was sizzly and crunchy, but still nice and soft, so I was really happy with it in the end. Now for the blue slime, I decided to use this one from Archie Slime, and this was, I think, a Tiffany & Co themed slime, and as you can see, it's completely melted, so I was already really happy. These slimes are always the most easy to work with, and as you can see, it's so glossy and it's such a simple slime that I knew that this was going to be one of the easier ones. The first thing I did was mix everything back together to make sure that it was all the same consistency, and then I picked out the little diamond charms that were hidden in there because I didn't need those anymore. I decided to add a vanilla scent to this just because it had such a light scent, and I wanted as many of the slimes to smell as similar as possible, if that makes sense. So we have a few vanilla slimes. So then I went in with some lotion just to make sure that it was as stretchy and soft as could be, and I was so happy with the color, so I decided to leave that as it was. I then went in with my activator and started reactivating this slime. This was definitely probably the easiest slime to make over in this video, and I love the bubble pops it had, and it was so soft and glossy, and I was obsessed with this slime. Now for the pink slime, I decided to use this slime from Slime Screwball, which was in a slime mystery box. So as you can see, the foam beads had floated to the top, which made my life so much easier, and it meant that I could easily scrape these out with a spoon, and it also meant that I was left with a really nice glossy slime sitting at the bottom. And as you can see, it's such a beautiful pink. I was so excited to use this slime. So then I added it to a bowl once I picked out all of those foam beads, and as you can see, it's such a nice slime to work with, perfectly deactivated and so simple. I went in with some of that vanilla scent just because I was using vanilla a lot. I feel like we're going for vanilla and fruit. I know it's a bit odd, but I couldn't help it. Then I added some conditioner to thicken it up a little bit, and also I added some shaving foam just to make it a little bit fluffier and also to increase its volume. I then decided to go in with a little bit more pink food coloring because I wasn't happy with how light it was. was. And like I said, I wanted each color in this rainbow to pop. So I added some pink food coloring, and then I went in with my activator, and this slime reactivated so easily, and I was so happy with how this one turned out. It was a beautiful bright pink, scented like vanilla, and definitely one of the easier ones to make over, which makes me very happy. Now it's time for the bright yellow, and I decided to again use a scented slime by Amy Slime. So this was a very thick slay slime, so it's very much like a butter slime. As you can see, there's a lot of clay that has separated and risen to the top, so I knew that my main goal with this slime was to soften it. I was really happy with the bright yellow color. I thought it was so perfect for my rainbow, and it reminded me of sunshine. So the first thing I did was place it in a bowl, and I decided to first try and mix it with a spatula, but because it was so thick, I just thought I would go in with some activator and reactivate it and then try and make it over. I just thought that this would be the easiest because, as you can see, it just looks like a lot of clay, and that was going to be really hard to work with. So I first reactivated it and brought it back to, I guess, what it originally was. I think I may have overactivated it a little bit because it was slightly tough. So what I decided to do was to go in with a lot of lotion. So I would just add a few pumps of lotion at a time and mix it in, and this definitely was a little bit difficult at the beginning. It always feels like the lotion isn't going to combine with the slime, but the more you work it, the more it will soften, and it actually turned into the most amazing soft butter slime, and I was so happy with it. It definitely was softer than it originally was, which was perfect, and as you can see, it's very soft and spreadable and a bright, happy yellow. So now we finally have our 6 slimes completely made over and ready for the final rainbow slime. This was definitely a bit of a journey, but we got there in the end, and I'm really happy with how all the colors work together. So I wanted to do something a little bit different with this slime makeover, and I really wanted this rainbow slime to kind of be a bit of a surprise. You'll see what I mean. So I took some Model Magic and started warming it up in my hands just so it would be easier to work with. I then placed it on top of some grease-proof paper, and here I'm also dusting some cornstarch just to make sure that it doesn't stick to anything, because I really need this to be a perfect shape and I don't want it to get caught on anything. I then put some grease-proof paper on top and used a rolling pin to roll it out as flat as possible. And once I was happy with the thickness of it, I just added some more cornstarch on top, and this also brightened it up a lot and just made it a lot easier to handle. Next, I took the slime container that I was going to be putting the actual slime in, and I decided to use this as my cookie cutter. So then I went in with some more cornstarch, just making sure nothing's going to stick, and I just cut out a little circle. So as you can see, this circle is going to fit perfectly on top of our slime. It's just going to sit so nicely in the top of that container, and I can't wait for you to see how it turns out. It's so satisfying. So I just popped this aside for now, and then I took all 6 of my slimes and that same container, which I cleaned up so it didn't have any cornstarch on it, and then I just decided to kind of layer the slimes. I was going to swirl them at first, but I kind of get a bit nervous when I do that in case I swirl it too much and I lose some of the color. So I just decided to kind of layer it and really be particular with the colors. As you can see, it's so pretty. I love rainbow slimes so much. They're always a lot more difficult to make, but the end result is worth it. Now I popped in the little circle of clay, and as you can see, it fits so well. It was very satisfying to place that in there, and then I topped it off with some rainbow sprinkles. So here are the 6 slimes before they were turned into one amazing rainbow slime, and here is the end result. I am so excited about this slime. I just want to make more slimes like this. It's so much fun to make the rainbow kind of pop once you push the clay in. You'll see what I mean, but it's very satisfying and so much fun. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this slime makeover. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!